And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate. It's all about you, our radio listeners out there, our radio family, our viewers of our TV show on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku as well. We want to be your consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand your buying decisions and educating you about the market, all things here in Tampa Bay, current events, life happening in Tampa Bay. And we're the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in any marketplace. Save our hotline number. We'd love for you to reach out. We're getting an uptick in calls lately. We appreciate all those who do reach out with your questions, comments, concerns on our off-air line. It's 813-670-7372. Our consumer advocate hotline is 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
And make sure you bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you on our website at consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, including these fine folks that are in studio today. Rick Nickerson, Bottomzupp. Welcome back in, sir.
Great to be here, man. Another great day. I was just telling you earlier, it's a great day to be alive and in God's greatest country.
Yeah.
Living in God's greatest area. I'll tell you what, the Tampa Bay area is hot right now. And what we do is we reach out to consumers and we let them know that there's a service out there in the tough portion of the floor installation project that, you know, there's a removal company that's got your best interest in mind. It's called Bottomzupp. We're here for you. We've been doing this for 10 years in the community. We're proud to serve.
Absolutely. I love that. And we're going to talk a little bit about branding today and how to choose your brand and what's important about the brand.
Yes, sir. And what that brand means, you know, both in interior and exterior, you know, how to get that brand recognition out there into the community and identifying your brand and making sure that all your personnel are aware of what your brand stands for and how it affects them on a daily basis.
Excellent. I love it. Fred DeFelice, welcome back in, sir. Waterscience.us.
How about that for a brand, huh?
I like
Water
that.
Science.
Water science. It's the science behind water, it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Because it's all scientific.
Yep. So we have a few things we'll talk about today, if we have time. Basically, the difference between a water softener and what our systems do for your home.
Awesome. Removing the microplastics, chloramine,
all kinds of
garbage,
stuff like that.
junk in the water lines.
Yep.
Awesome. You got to look after yourself. The county's not going to do it for you.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yep. Exactly.
But we can.
Yes, I like it. Larry Harbolt in the house. He's an author, he's an educator, and he's a teacher. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. So
always glad.
So you got a couple decades, maybe a few decades in knowledge in real estate investing, and today you want to talk a little bit about how real estate agents should interact with investors.
Yes. I've been doing it 40 plus years.
40 plus. Nice.
And I think that a lot of real estate agents are missing the boat and missing a lot of money.
Yeah.
If they would just learn to work more with investors.
Yeah, I like that. Exactly. It's a great niche as a realtor. If you have, a Millionaire Real Estate Agent, book, the Gary Keller's book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent. He has a couple examples in there of realtors that specifically work with investors, and all they need is 4, 5, 6, 10 realtor or investors that they work with, and that keeps their pipeline busy. They're closing 8 to 10 deals a month, and that's a good lifeline living if you're in real estate. So yeah, if you can diversify your portfolio, work with investors, maybe work with some owner-occupied buyers, and then maybe do some flips yourself. Maybe get into buy and hold and build a portfolio. As Rick mentioned, Tampa Bay, the best city, the best tri-city, quad city area in all Florida, and then out of the United States, we're living in the best state, of course, with no state income tax, and we got some great leadership in Tallahassee now. But Case-Shiller Index, which is a composite of the top 20 cities in the United States, Case-Shiller came out just recently, and Tampa's in the top 3 again, so almost a 4% appreciation rate with Tampa Bay again. So Tampa Bay, the place to be, and we've got the Consumer Quarterback Show expert contributors here in studio today. We're going to educate you, we're going to entertain, and we're going to enlighten. And today we want to give a shout out to Golf Cart Depot, the official partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Golf Cart Depot. Say hello to Marty and his team. They've got 2 locations, one in Tampa, kind of that Land O'Lakes area, one in Clearwater location as well, right off of US 19. on the east side of 19 in Clearwater. Go in for a test drive. Test drive these awesome vehicles. They're fun. They're exciting. It's a great time. Easy Go is one of the brands. They have Star EV as well as Cushman. They've got new and pre-owned golf carts available at Golf Cart Depot. And I love getting out on mine. I go out there and I enjoy it, and I get out and do some door knocking in the real estate game. So check out my Keller Williams Red. I got the door knocking going on. We got the wraps on order from Bob Burmaster over at Image 360. So we're going to put Consumer QB Show on one side, Keller Williams Realty across it as well. And we've been door knocking for just a few weeks. We already got multiple deals flowing from the door knocking that I personally do. And as the owner of the company, I'm out there door knocking. I'm out there making things happen, meeting people in the community, developing relationships with my neighbors right there on Lake Tarpon. So a great opportunity. Go say hello to our friends at Golf Cart Depot. And make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And our feel-good story of the day as well, Ohio Church wipes out over $46.5 million in medical debt. Find out about that here coming up in our feel-good story of the day. Let's jump over to Rick Nickerson, Bottomzupp. What's important about a brand, Rick?
Well, what does a brand mean to you? And, when I was first introduced to, as a young buck, Hardin-Simmons University in Abilene, Texas, home of the first cattle drive.
Nice.
You could see where I'm going with that. It was introduced to me in a marketing class. One of my marketing professors got a business degree from Hardin-Simmons University. And, I was trying to understand why he was elaborating on what brand was. And you've got to understand a brand as a businessman. If you're gonna go into, we all know that a small business, most of them fail in the first year. They don't for many various different reasons. But understanding what your brand was, and I being the young, energetic basketball player wanting to get involved and how important it was to me. I said, what does brand mean to you, and how is that important in my business?
Yeah.
And he goes, let me tell you a story. A little story about Texas and the cattle drives and what a brand meant and what a brand meant to a cowboy.
Yeah.
And, you can only think of, what that means is they burn a brand into your soul, your intrinsic value. What do you really want out of your project? What does it mean to you? And so it goes very, very, very deep. And so when he told me that story, I actually was like, that's what I want. That's something that's important to me, something that's ingrained.
Yeah.
And how do I reach, if it's important to me and I'm passionate about it, how do I reach my customers? How do we make that brand recognition in the community? And there's a lot of different ways to do it. We've went online with our services and so forth, and we've reached out through social media. But I think videos to get your brand out there. My trucks are all basically driving billboards. We've got 25 of them in Tampa Bay and surrounding areas, getting that brand out there. But I was talking to the gentleman today before we went on air, and your brand starts with you, and then it goes into your actual personnel that go out from the very first moment that you introduce your company to your customers, and understanding that everything that you do is important in establishing that brand.
It's interesting that you brought this topic in, because I've got one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to is Gary Vee.
Yeah.
So I want to play a quick clip about branding here for you.
But the way to combat what you're dealing with is quadruple down on brand.
And that feels right too.
I mean, you need to quadruple down on brand, because there will always be the person who, you need to make people feel like, no, this is the one I have to buy.
Right.
Like, this is the brand.
Right.
Like, that's the ultimate.
Right.
Like, Nike is never like, you're always worried, you're scared, you're being smart, but like people are gonna buy it.
Right.
Like, you have to be the brand. Right. And so you have to go from a utility. This is what, it's funny, back to your name, like all those people that built websites that were so literal because everybody cared about SEO and search. And so their company was called Hardware Tools Depot Direct.com. The problem is, once Google, which is where we're at now, became mature.
Yeah, so what he's talking about is in the beginning of SEO, it was like, let's try to put what we sell in the name and build that into the website so that we'll be able to index better on social media. Sure. But he's saying, well, that's part of the brand, but it's not the full brand. The real estate quarterback, for example, my background is real estate. I was always the quarterback on the team. My background is football, and this
exactly.
So that's the idea. It ties in exactly. So when you think about bottoms up, yeah, we're removing flooring. We're taking the bottom and we're pulling it up, right?
Yeah, and then burning that into the community, and just like he mentioned Nike there, if you're gonna you're gonna give Nike a shot, if you're going into a store or you're online and you're looking to purchase shoes or now clothing or whatever it may be, Nike comes to mind. And I wanted that same thing from the early beginning, that I wanted a catchy name. Yeah. And I wanted to be important. And the first thing that my customers think about when they're going to do a floor removal is bottoms up. At least be that first trendsetter in that particular market.
Quadruple down on brand.
Quadruple down on brand.
Not just double down.
That's correct.
It reminds me of a quick story too. Is I was listening to a public speaker that was talking about Muhammad Ali back in the day. He said, "Muhammad, how did you become the most dangerous man?" Or not the most, that's Ken Shamrock, world's most dangerous man. What would he say? "I'm the great. How did you become the greatest boxer
of all time?"
He laughed. He goes, man, I became the greatest boxer because I told you I was the greatest boxer, and you guys believed it, and you kept repeating it."
Isn't that the truth? That's the truth.
So he played the media even back then. He was a kind of a Donald Trump type figure back then,
and
playing the media.
He had his own brand, and that brand was important, and it meant something in the community, and it means something to your employees as well. And so when we talk about all the time, when I have my quality circles in the morning, and I talk to each and every one of my team members, we talk about that brand. We talk about, like a cowboy out on the ranch, protecting the brand at all costs from all enemies.
Behind the logo.
That's correct. Behind the logo. So it's important, and we think about that at Bottoms Up, and we know that our customers are always going to be number one, and we've done that by basically etching a brand in the community that's important to them, that tells everybody that we're there for them and that we are the best at what we do.
I love it. Bottomzupp.com. Check him out online. Rick Nickerson, bottomzupp.com. Longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, expert contributor on our panel today, as well as Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us. Everything that you want to know about water, what's in it that you may not know is in it, and how it can affect your health. Also, Larry Harbolt in the house as well. A wealth of information around real estate investing, probate, all types of ways to generate deals in real estate. Also, our feel-good story of the day, Ohio Church wipes out over $46.5 million in medical debt. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it's Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with Kansas Star.
62, who knew? I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62, who knew?
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember it. Ask me about
Yes. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay. Welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left-hand white, and then they catch the left-hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back. I've got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step Image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I want to let you know about some hot listings that we've got. 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue is a great opportunity for a business owner. If you're leasing space and throwing away money, paying the landlord's rent, what you want to do is look at 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue here in Tampa Bay. This is a freestanding office building, and it is close to 3,000 square feet, gated with security systems, camera systems throughout, and a beautiful conference room. Check out that conference room. You've got a great opportunity to own a building that we just listed right here in the Town and Country area of Tampa. 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue. Property's priced right at $450,000, $460,000 price range. You've got a great opportunity to purchase a building here in Tampa Bay, a commercial opportunity in Tampa Bay. 0 Alternate 19 in Palm Harbor. It's also known as 516 Alt 19 Palm Harbor. This is a beautiful piece of land. This is a piece of dirt here that you can purchase, $199,000. Now, the owner has paid the impact fees. The sewer is connected. The water is connected. And she's also going to throw in $40,000 worth of architectural plans. Great opportunity. 0 Alt 19 Palm Harbor. The walkability as well. You're right off of 19, and you've got the walkability to walk to the restaurants, walk to all the fun stuff right there in downtown Palm Harbor. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. And this segment is brought to you by Taps Restaurant. The official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Taps Restaurant, located at the International Plaza on Bay Street. And it's a great restaurant, excellent food, very friendly staff, and a wonderful ambiance as well. And by the way, save the date, Wednesday, March 25th, we're hosting an event at Taps Restaurant. It's Tampa Bay's best speed networking event. Come on out and meet over 100 business owners. We're going to have business owners, sales reps, men and women of all types coming out to network together to help each other grow their business. Tampa Bay's best speed networking event. Tickets available on eventbrite.com, and it's over at Taps Restaurant, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check them out online. Make sure you let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got Fred DeFelice. He is a plethora of knowledge in the plumbing space, master plumber in the past, and now you've developed this waterscience.us system that you can add on to homes, single-family homes, townhomes, condos, doesn't matter. You can add it on to the property, and it's going to make sure you have clean, fresh, great tasting drinking water coming into the home that is pulling out all the microplastics, the pharmaceuticals, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, there's a big problem with everything in our water supply.
Yeah.
And the water companies can only do so much, what they can do. So they have to combat a lot of the problem by putting chlorine and chloramine. Chloramine is a mixture of ammonia and chlorine. They prove that that's what's causing pinholes in your copper tubing, in your plumbing. But the chloramine, it's so acidic. So there's all kinds of things like that. And unfortunately, for the last 30 years or so, people relied on water softeners.
Yep.
That's all we ever knew.
Yep.
And The difference between a water softener and what we do is incredible. All right. So just briefly, first off, water softeners do not purify your water. I mean, that's a misnomer.
Yep.
It does not remove chlorine or chloramine. It actually adds sodium to your water, so you don't want to really be drinking that. People with health conditions have to reduce their sodium intake. That slimy feeling you get in the shower with a water softener is really salt, is really the sodium. And people have been slipping and sliding in the shower now and winding up in the emergency room. It requires monthly maintenance, buying salt. It requires electricity. It wastes about 3,000 gallons of water from your home every year. And it pollutes the environment. It adds tons of sodium chloride to our water stream.
Wow.
Eventually winds up everywhere. Many states have actually outlawed the use of them outright.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Maybe someday in Florida, we don't know. So the difference with our water science whole house system, it does treat the water for chlorine, chloramines, bacteria, virus, cysts, metals, heavy metals, taste. It leaves in all the healthy minerals. It eliminates the hard water scale. It continues to clean the plumbing in your home, protects your water heater and your appliances, and is actually a necessity and recommended for tankless water heaters.
Wow.
They scale up almost immediately. Our systems require no maintenance for 3 to 5 years and carry a lifetime warranty. So
wow.
You can't beat this.
Yeah.
And
in the so chloramine, microplastics, a big one.
Microplastic particles.
Pharmaceutical drugs. By the way, the kind of a funny side note to that, the number one drug in the water, Viagra.
Yeah, I think some other drugs.
The number one drug in our water, Viagra.
I think some other drugs have topped that recently.
Oh, have they?
From the recent reviews.
Maybe Oxycontins.
Yeah, those type of things.
Yeah. Opioids.
Yep.
Virus, bacteria, metals in the water system.
Yep.
And they're talking about also within the next 3 to 5 years, roughly. What are they going to do, Fred?
Oh, they're going to have to depend on using the reclaimed water supply.
Toilet water.
Blend that with our drinking water. Now, they'll run that probably through the desalinization plant.
Mm-hmm.
They already had the funding and did all the testing on how they could pull that off. Not a new idea. It's been done in California years ago, mainly because they deal with drought conditions.
Big time.
Here in Florida, here in Tampa Bay, we're just building too much, maybe. I mean, there's so much building going on. Thank God for this economy.
Yep.
But it brings other problems with it.
Pros and cons. Everything brings pros and cons. We're talking with Fred DeFelice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Grimes. Waterscience.us is his company, and he runs it himself, him and his sons and his family.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned a key point and something we haven't talked a lot about, but desalinization. Talk to me about, it seems like we're surrounded by all this salt water. What's going on with desalinization?
Yeah. The desal plant requires so much maintenance that many times it's not even online. The other problem with that, you take the salt out of the water for us, where are you putting that salt? You're putting it back into the Gulf. So now there's other problems occur with that. Cities have found all the sodium in their rivers. That's bad enough, but now what are you doing here into the Gulf waters?
Yeah.
Plus, it's a higher temperature going into the Gulf.
Yep.
So there's all kinds of problems with that.
Wow. So you're pumping it out back into the water. So not only are you depositing more salt back into the to the body, which is theoretically it sounds like it's a big 70% of the earth they say is water.
Yeah.
Right. So you're putting it back in there, but hopefully they can figure out a way to use that off for that byproduct.
I think it probably costs too much to take it and then sell it up north so they can salt the roads, maybe. Something.
That's a great point.
And in some countries, they actually do take the salt water and make sea salt. They sell sea salt. They put that out on a big canvas and they let it dry out.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's ways to do something with that.
Yeah. Seems like whatever problem mankind comes up against, we have entrepreneurs, we've got chemicals, we got scientists, we've got ways to make it happen, make it something to where it's a better something that we can flip a negative to a positive.
Most of the technology development and water purification came from the space program.
Right.
Let's face it, so much has come from that.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
unfortunately, so really this technology I'm using isn't new. It's just nobody knows about it.
Right. Not as many people know about it. Well, let's let some people know about it right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. You're also part of Charity Water. You're a Charity Water supporter and the Sustainability Foundation as well, Green Business Bureau. So you're part of that foundation as well. So that's pretty cool. You've been nominated for the 2020 Sustainable Business Award.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Sustainability, that's a big, somebody had mentioned too that they're starting to use that at university, or starting to offer that as a course of study at some universities as sustainability.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
It's the most important thing for our planet.
Absolutely.
It's using technology that's sustainable.
Yeah.
And how that relates to our system, there's no waste. There's no polluting the environment. There's no buying salt.
Right.
There's no using electricity. So
reach out to Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us. You can reach us right here on the consumer hotline, 813-670-7372. Any of our expert contributors on today's show, we'd love to put you in contact with them, 813-670-7372, consumerqb.com. When we come back, we got Larry Harbolt in the house. He's going to be up next talking about real estate investing and more about the real estate market right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
This is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it's Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with D'Angelo Star.
The 62 who knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance Joe's Bar and Grill, but actually it's our 39th week. 62 who knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember. Ask to me about
Yes. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left-hand white, and then they catch the left-hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back. I've got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step Image. I love that name because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing. We would love to talk to you. A top 1% real estate team. Real proud to say that we are the number one team in the number one Keller Williams office in South Florida, in the Mid-Florida Regional MLS, which is the number one real estate company in the world. So number one team. If you look top left, if you're watching our TV show, Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes right there, top agents January at the Keller Williams Clearwater office, which has 489 agents in the office. So we're top 1% real estate team here in Tampa Bay. So if you want to work with the best, you got certified negotiation experts on the team, and we can help you save a ton of money and time when it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And we got a couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O'Lakes. This is a property that is waterfront on a 90-acre ski lake. So attention builders and developers, here is an opportunity to own 8 lots, 5 of which are right on Bell Lake in Land O'Lakes. It's 90-acre ski lake. Owner is motivated, and it's a great opportunity to build. So attention builders, developers, let your friends know about 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O'Lakes. And also right across the way from it, on the other side, we've got 4207 Cox Drive as well. This is a half-acre lot on the same lake. So attention builders, developers, 0.51 acre lot on Bell Lake. You can fish, enjoy water skiing as well, right in your backyard. No HOA or CDD. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. And let's give a shout out to Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. I love going and getting my oil changed over there. You got the vitamins, minerals, electrolytes directly injected right into your bloodstream at Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Say hello to Steve and Lisa Gunnan. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you and take them up on special offers and incentives. They've got amino acids and extras. They've got performance, health and wellness, anti-aging, fatigue fighter, and the most popular is the Myers cocktail. You got the Myers cocktail available over there as well. So they got 2 locations, Gandy Boulevard and on the south side of Tampa, and then also on the north side, they've got Del Mabry and Bears. So big shout out to Replenish IV Solutions. All right, so we are going to talk with Larry Harbolt here. Now, Larry has been a friend of the program for many years, and he's been in real estate for over 4 decades now, as he mentioned. So tell us a little bit about how investors and realtors should work together.
Well, I have a lot of realtor friends. I run a weekly meeting. I've been doing every week, including holidays, for over 22 years.
Wow.
We have real estate agents come. A lot of those are also investors. And it made me think, as new people come into that meeting, new realtors, I talk to them, and many of them have been told you don't want to deal with investors because many of them are crooks. They're going to try and steal your commission. They do low cost deals, but to me that's ridiculous because a closing from one of an investor's deals will buy just as many groceries as a deal that was done on a paper person.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. Lesser sometimes can be more, because if you can put several of these investors that are reputable, they will close, they'll do what they say, that can create a lot of income for you. And I think a lot of people are missing the boat because they get misinformed that all investors are bad people, and it's not the case.
Yeah, of course. And one of the misnomers as well, they're just going to try to lowball me.
Yes.
What do you say to that?
Absolutely.
You make a fair offer.
Well, here's the deal. Let's be realistic. Homeowners, people that are going to live in the house, they will pay almost full price if they have to. And then they will put more money into the place because they're going to live in it to fix it up.
In many cases, they will. Absolutely.
Investors can't do that.
Right.
We've got to buy way below market, fix it up to build in a profit. It's called value added.
Yes.
And if you're going to be a landlord, you have to buy not based on price. It's got to be based on what the property rents for each month.
Exactly.
You got to deduct your taxes, insurance, a maintenance factor because you still have to fix it up when a tenant moves out, a vacancy factor. You would like a cash flow, and from each month's rent, you deduct those costs, advertising. You'll find out how much you have to make a payment with.
Yep, and it makes sense. And now, Pinellas County, they're changing the rule, or just recently changed the minimum lease period for all properties in Pinellas County, 3 months. They don't want any more of this Airbnb hotel type flipping on the weekends. They don't want that anymore.
They're trying to do away with it. Many of the cities are doing that.
Yep.
But there's still great opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and especially like you talked earlier, this is a fabulous area with great opportunity if you recognize opportunity.
Yes.
But what I teach all of my students from all over the country is stop doing what everybody else does. Quit looking where everyone else looks.
Right.
Because if you do what everyone else does, you're going to get what everyone else gets, which isn't very much.
Yeah.
You've got to be different. You got to think outside the box. You got to look for properties that everybody else isn't looking at.
Yeah. You got to be off market. You got to look for those off market deals, ways that, the blue ocean strategy, right? You got a red ocean, blue ocean. The blue ocean is one that's less fished. There's less competition. There's going to be a more bountiful harvest. Your marketing dollars might go a little bit further. You're going to work through some of the grassroots ways of finding properties rather than the traditional. What's an example of that?
Well, personally, I only look for properties that are free and clear. No debt, and the owner doesn't live in it.
Yeah. So they don't live in it, so that's going to be number one. They're not as emotionally tied to the property.
That's right. And if they get all cash, like everybody's been trained to do,
yep,
they're going to get slaughtered in taxes.
Exactly.
Where if they will let me pay them by the month,
yep,
then they'll pay taxes on the 12 payments I make them every calendar year.
Yes.
But the point is, these people have been brainwashed, that they're going to get all their money.
Yep.
Well, that may not be the best deal. And I think many real estate agents need to look for properties that may be expired listings, but talk to the seller and say, you need to entertain other ways than getting all cash, because you may end up making more money over time.
Right. Yeah, you'll keep more money over time, right? So if you take that big chunk of money instead of $300,000 listing and okay, I'll pay you $295 for it, instead of taking all and realizing, to use an accounting term, they realize that income at the closing. What's going to happen to them, Larry? They're going to get hit in taxes, right?
Right. Well, can I give you an example?
Please.
As an investor, we think differently than most people because we have to be creative. If you had a property valued at $100,000. If I went to the bank and I got a 5% 30-year loan, over 30 years I'd pay back $193,000. To get you to accept my offer of what I'm willing to pay, your house is only worth $100,000, but I'd give you $150,000 if you would accept, let's say, $500 a month until paid, which means no interest. That way, over time, I would pay it off 5 years less time. You'd get an extra $50,000, and I'd save about $44,000 over that time. But it's how you structure the deal.
It's so important how you structure the deal.
It's how you structure the deal. It's got to be win-win for both.
Right.
The seller gets more money.
Yep.
They don't pay tax on the interest that we didn't include.
Right.
It can be better for both of us.
So instead of doing bank financing, just want to summarize that, $100,000 home, 5% 30-year note, you're going to pay total commissions or total interest in there. So your principal and interest tax, not even including taxes. We'll leave taxes outside of this conversation. $193,000.
Correct.
For that.
Correct.
And by the way, the word amortization, a lot of times people heard in my mortgage, I got an amortization schedule. The word amortization from the Latin means to die slow. So the banks design it that way. It's going to die slow. You're going to pay $900 in interest, $100 to principal, in the beginning.
Right.
And then it'll flip-flop to where it's 50-50, and then it's going to go the other way. But yeah, so that's the point. It says, hey, Mr. Seller, I know you want $100,000 for this. What if I gave you $150,000? But I'm not going to do conventional financing. I want you to hold the paper and let me pay you $500 per month. Now, are we including a down payment with that, Larry?
Sometimes you have to. It's going to depend on the seller.
Yeah.
But a down payment doesn't necessarily have to be cash. It could be a note
Okay.
With no payments and no interest for a period of time. It could be a car. It could be a vacant lot you've got. It can be anything the seller will accept for value.
I like that.
So you got to realize when you pay more than a property's worth, that only works if you're going to hold that property long term,
right,
as an income property, because you're not paying for it. The tenants are paying for it.
Exactly.
And if that allows you to get a monthly cash flow with a lower payment, even though you paid more for it, you're winning, the seller's winning.
I like that.
So it's got to be win-win, but the real estate agents need to understand they need to teach sellers to be open-minded.
Yep.
And work with them to get the best deal they can, but be open-minded about it and think creatively, because the investors are going to be.
There's a lot more to the conversation than just the price, the terms. There's so much more which you're sharing with us, your knowledge, and we appreciate that. Larry Harbolt here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. He's a teacher and author, and you got classes that you teach as well. You have different classes you're doing with these. When's your next class?
I've got a land trust class, a 3-day land trust, which is a title holding trust. That is coming up May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and I've got a creative deal structuring seller financing course coming up May, I believe it's the 23rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Seller financing. So deeper.
Creative deal structuring.
Yeah, creative deals.
What I was talking about. I also do a podcast.
That's right, The Real Deal.
The Real Deal podcast with Larry Harbolt.
Real Deal.
You can find that on my website, larryharbolt.com. I just recorded the 176th podcast.
Nice.
And it's information, 99.9% information from an investor's point of view that can help anybody that wants to think that way.
I like that. Yeah, that's awesome. You can build wealth in real estate, as we've talked about before, and more. You've heard it said multiple times, more millionaires are made through real estate than any other area in business or any other sector of the economy might be a better way to put that. But stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. More from Larry Harbolt. We got Fred DeFelice in the house, Rick Nickerson as well, Bottomzupp here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got our lightning round and our feel-good story of the day. Ohio Church wipes out over $46.5 million in medical debt for its congregation. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show and check out consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com. Even back.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with Dancing with Stars.
62 who knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62 who knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember it.
Ask me about
Yes. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left-hand white, and then they catch the left-hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to...
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back their right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step Image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
You're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing. Of course, we would love to talk to you, published author and professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon. Become the MVP in your industry by surfing the radio waves, the prequel to our business we launched called the Business Growth Celebrity Academy with Ken Shamrock, the UFC Hall of Famer, world's most dangerous man, is our business partner. Ken Shamrock on that company as well. So we would love for you to check that out. Also, bgca.co. And this segment is brought to you by Infinity Medical Institute. Infinity Medical Institute right here on West Shore Boulevard in Tampa. Over 10 years in business, and they offer hormone therapy at Infinity Medical Institute. Over 40,000 patients that have been successfully treated. They're the leading experts in bio-natural hormone replacement therapy serving the greater Tampa Bay area. Pellet hormone therapy is an option for those looking for hormone replacement, and they offer low T therapy, weight loss plans, cosmetic services such as Botox, improved sexual wellness, and increased energy, and also adding stem cells to the mix as well very soon. All right, check them out and let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. And a couple of hot properties here. We've got a property available here in Tampa Bay over at Harbor Drive in Clearwater. This is a great opportunity to build right in Clearwater. Harbor Drive, it's 2 lots, side-by-side lots, bay access. Check out the beautiful photography, compliments of Fabre Frameworks as well. You have an opportunity to build 7 units on that lot. On those 2 lots. So 7 units total if you buy both, 3 on each if you don't. And check out the water. You got navigatable water all the way over to Upper Tampa Bay there, as well as the Clearwater beaches in the background. And hot listings at Harbor Drive in Clearwater. Compliments of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Check us out online, platinummvpteam.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
Okay, every day we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day, going against the nonsense out there and the negativity in the mainstream media. We're going to tell you something good here.
Tell me something good.
Okay, so we got an Ohio church that wipes out $46.5 million in medical debt. So a pastor at a church in Cincinnati mentioned the burden of medical debt during a recent sermon. Within a week and a half, members donated enough to abolish over $46.5 million in medical debt. So the Crossroad Church pastor, Brian Tomey, told the congregation to text multiply to 313131 and help others with their medical debt. So he insisted the campaign was not a challenge. And for every dollar raised, Crossroads partner RIP Medical Debt would leverage that dollar to abolish $100 in medical debt. So church officials announced the impact on their Sunday. So in Ohio, they said they have abolished $42.8 million in debts across 41,233 households in the zip codes up there. So they abolished a lot of debt over in Kentucky, Tennessee, other places as well. And, quote, we kept it off social media, said Crossroads Director of Marketing, Brendan Hill. We really want it to be about giving in our community, like I said, who are currently giving. So the nonprofit site claims its partnerships have raised over $1.4 billion in medical debt to date. So pretty cool story. We've done those types of stories as well. They're leveraging that, so they're buying out a lot of debt, pennies on the dollar when you do that, when you come with bulk. So again, the economics behind it, pretty cool how the way that works there. All right, lightning round time. We're going to jump into our lightning round here, and we're going to get our top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom from our expert contributors here in studio.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, Rick Nickerson, bottoms up.
Quadruple down on your brand. Quadruple down. Listen, brand recognition in the community is something that we recognized early on. We were met with a lot of barriers to entry. This isn't the way we do it. I've got a guy. We became that guy, and we've now we're doing over 50 removals in the area. If you've got a flooring project that's going out, ask your retail store, your installer, whoever it may be, are you utilizing a professional removal company? Bottomzupp is licensed and insured. We've got 3 different divisions from the up and down the entire West Coast. We're here for you. We do it the right way. 90% of our projects we can get done in one day. Our quality experts can come out and provide you a free proposal at any time. Look us up at www.bottomzupp.com, BOTTOMZUPP, the floor removal experts. We're here for you.
Bottomzupp.com, Rick Nickerson. All right, Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us.
Let's take that bottled water challenge. Figure out how much you're spending a month on bottled water. If you're running into a convenience store and you're buying a bottled water for $1, you already paid for your system. You'll never have to buy another bag of salt or bottled water again. Financing starting at $28 a month. We're rolling out a rental program this year, so check us out on the web. Call us. We'll answer all your questions.
Waterscience.us. Take the water bottle challenge. $28 a month gets you a system on your home. Fresh, clean, great tasting water.
Absolutely.
Waterscience.us. All right, I love it.
Thank you.
Larry Harbolt, teacher, educator, podcaster extraordinaire, real estate investor. Give us some nuggets of advice, sir.
Well, one thing I'd like real estate agents to understand, that what I talk about with paying the seller, doing the seller financing deals, something they may want to learn about, it has nothing to do with market conditions, the economic cycle we're in. What we do was happening back in biblical days. It'll work 1,000 years from now because it has nothing to do with market conditions. It has nothing to do with interest rates. It's what you, the investor, and the seller can agree on. It has nothing to do with what bank rates are or what banks are going to require. That's why I could pay more for a property if I want, because what I'm doing isn't based on an appraisal. It's based on what the seller and I agree to.
Right.
That's the important part. If you can get your mind around that, or you want more information, you can go to LarryHarbolt.com. My website, you can listen to my podcasts. It's the Real Deal Podcast with Larry Harbolt. You can find that on my website. And you can come to my weekly meeting in St. Petersburg every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Everyone's welcome. It's for investors. It's a place to learn, and there's nobody there going to try and rip you off.
Where's it at?
It's right now, it's at the Big Apple Buffet on the corner of 9th Avenue North and 58th Street North.
Cool. Awesome. And I've been there. It's been too long since I've been there, but I've been there before. And you might bump into old William Crowley over there too, right?
Yeah, right.
The credit magician might be there.
He comes all the time. So,
yeah, awesome. All right, good stuff. So great lightning round tips from our expert contributors. I want to finish with one from 1895. Going to flash back all the way back to 1895. A Italian economist named Wilfredo Pareto. He coined and started what we now know as the 80-20 rule, aka the Pareto principle. And what it's saying is that 80% of your activities and tasks that you do on a daily basis are 20% of your daily tasks are going to lead to 80% of your results. So the key 20% is what you want to focus on. So in other words, if you wrote down, hey, here's the top 10 things that I do every day in my real estate business, in my sales business, in whatever business you're in, there's going to be 2 or 3 of those things that are going to contribute to 80% of your success. Now, from there, what you want to do, of course, is double down, quadruple down on those 80%, those key 20% of the task that's going to lead to 80% of your results and your income. And it's funny that you see the 80-20 rule throughout life every day, throughout the humankind, everything that we're doing every day. So a couple funny ones here is like 20% of the people drink 80% of the beer, right? Or alcohol, right? 20% of the clothes in our closet we wear 80% of the time. You ever notice you don't wear the stuff on the end of the shelf over here? And then 20% of the criminals account for 80% of the crime, the repeat offenders, people that keep doing the same thing. So that's the Pareto principle working naturally in life, in real life, and through the economy and through economics. So how can you do that? Focus on your self-awareness. What are you good at? What are the things that you naturally gravitate towards? And if you can develop those skills and become the best at those skills and develop personal development and develop yourself, you're going to be able to make those key 20% better, which is going to do what? It's going to increase that 80% every year. So you're going to end up making more money every year. You're going to be more successful by focusing on those strengths rather than the things that you're not good at. The things that you're not good at, what do? You delegate those out, right? Awesome. So, hey, Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, key to success here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to thank our expert contributors, Rick Nickerson, Bottomzupp. Check him out online, bottomzupp.com. Fred DeFelice, waterscience.us. Larry Harbolt, larryharbolt.com. And check out his podcast as well, the Real Deal Podcast, Larry Harbolt. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, carry it with you, hand it to that person that you see in need. Donate some blood, donate some time, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.